Your business needs help. 56.1 million employees are employed by small businesses in the United States, and 99% of all U.S. establishments are small businesses under 250 employees. That means that your business should be listening to the only podcast dedicated to small business success. That's Growth Success Radio, growthsuccessradio.com. Welcome to this week's episode of Growth Success Radio.
First joined.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. This is Growth Success Radio, episode 17, the final episode of 2016.
Yes, sir.
This is Scott Gombar, your co-host. I am a little under the weather, so I might sound a little funny to you today. To my right and probably everybody else's left is Eugene Resnitsky. I keep doing that.
Oh.
He is the other co-host. Eugene, tell us about Eugene Resnitsky.
Eugene Resnitsky. I am a co-owner of Traeger Insurance Group, which if I move my head a little bit, you guys can see. We are an independent agency based in Meriden, Connecticut. My role within the agency is as president of commercial lines, and I help business owners protect against the what-ifs in life.
Awesome. And you probably weren't in here listening to the pre-recorded part of this. I am a digital marketer, and essentially there's three parts of my business. I got to find a way to clear this up, apparently. There is the organic stuff, which is SEO, which essentially means I help your business get found organically using Google, Bing, Yahoo, and other smaller search engines. There is the social media aspect, which is the well-known ones like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Then there's the lesser-known ones like the one we're using right now, Blab, email, things like that. And then there is the advertising piece, which is primarily Google AdWords with a little bit of Facebook ads mixed in. I don't really do any other advertising. So that's my agency in a nutshell. We're going to send this to some people that we know. Because they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Today's episode is the final episode of 2016, and we're going to just do a year in review. We invited all of our previous guests on. One of them is here with us. Colleen is in the audience. So here's an interesting little thing that maybe you guys didn't notice or it doesn't show up for you yet. Did you notice on the top right there's a little bit of a map there?
I noticed it.
Yeah, so there was somebody in here before I started that was in Florida. The rest of us are obviously in Connecticut, the Northeast there. So it doesn't pinpoint exactly, but it's pretty accurate. I can't tell if that's really Connecticut. It looks like we're more in Canada, but
My map looks like it's like in Africa right now.
You're in Africa?
Yeah.
Are you using are you masking your IP address?
No, I'm not smart enough for that.
No, I'll teach you. It's easy.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the year in review and what successes or setbacks we had. I don't call them failures. I call them learning opportunities. We'll call them learning opportunities that we've had throughout the year in business. And we welcome business owners to join us if you're I don't know if we welcome business owners to join us, to come on and talk to us about their business. Colleen, if you want to jump on, feel free. I don't know if you did your hair, if you're wearing your nerd glasses or what, but that's right. I said nerd glasses. So Eugene. Yes, nerd glasses. Nerd glasses are the in thing. Eugene, how has 2015 been to you?
2015 has been actually pretty amazing, I would say. We moved into a beautiful new location. We hired staff. We pretty much doubled our business from last year, which is good, which is what we were hoping for, is to double it. And that's pretty much with one new producer. So we were able to maintain most of our book and get the same amount. Personally, life 2015 was crazy, but that's a whole different blabcast. What about
Yes,
you,
it
Scott?
is.
How's yours?
It's been a pretty good ride. But before we go on to that, tell us what that means, book, because there's people out there that are not in the insurance world that don't understand that.
Okay, so book, basically when we say book of business, we talk about how much premium we have in force. So this year we actually hit $1 million in premium in force. So our agency owns $1 million of premium.
Nice. So when you taking us all out to dinner?
Tomorrow.
Awesome. I'm there. Wait, tomorrow's a bad day.
Yeah,
It's,
dinner's going to be at the McDonald's and value menu only.
I think they got rid of the dollar menu, actually.
Well, that's what I said. I think it's called the value menu.
Oh, the value menu. Yeah, I don't do McDonald's. Sorry. My 2015 has been pretty good. It has its moments. Collecting invoices is not fun, so there's something I don't think you really have to deal with too much, but I have to. I have really two types of clients. Ones that pay me and drag their feet as far as getting the work done, and I'm okay with that because they've already paid me. And then there's other clients that just drag their feet on everything, and it's just like, all right, can we finish this already? I've got one right now that's taking forever to get done, primarily because he's reviewing the site with a toothpick or a toothbrush, or I don't know what he's doing, but it's only like 5 pages. And I'd like to get it off my plate, but I can't. But that's what I've been dealing with for the most part this year. A lot of people say the end of the year, this time of the year, Christmas season, Hanukkah season, it's tough to land new clients, but I've been fortunate enough to land 2 pretty good size accounts. Colleen will be happy to hear that. 2 pretty good size accounts in the last month or so, because Colleen, I did get an AdWords account. So I don't have to call in on Tuesday now, right, Colleen? It wasn't a Fortune 5000, but it's a start. So for those that don't know, since Colleen doesn't want to join us because she has a meeting or something, I don't know what that's about, but meetings. Colleen is a, I don't want to say a business coach because it's not really what it is, but her company, Small Business USA, has, is a busy baby. Yes, it is. So they part of what Small Business USA does, business development. Okay, good. That's better. Is peer advisory boards, and I'm in one, and we have a check-in point midway through the month, and that for us is next Tuesday. And I think I wrote my goals down somewhere because every month I forget what they are, and Colleen has to remind me. So I wrote them down, but here it is. I did manage to nail one of them, and sort of another one. So we're getting there, Colleen. But if you feel like your business could use a push or some help or some advice or marketing help, there's a lot of marketing resources from Small Business USA as well, then you should check that out at smallbusinessus.com. That's right, Colleen, I'm plugging you even though you refused to get on our blab this morning.
Whoa. Last time she got on, cops were called.
That's right. This time it'll be the FBI. Hey, did you see that guy? What's his name? The guy that raised the
Farmer Bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got busted for SEC violations.
Well, they need to find something to go after him for, so somebody told on him is my feeling. Somebody mentioned something and then they investigated it.
It was probably Jared.
Probably.
Yeah. And side note, did anybody else check out the Google homepage today?
Yes, there's lightsabers on it.
That's right, but it goes further than that. You can actually play with the lightsabers if you use your smartphone.
Really?
Yes.
Can you challenge somebody to a lightsaber duel?
That would be awesome. I didn't get that far because I ran out of time. I had to come and do this episode. But it was good stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with that's my biggest dilemma for 2015 is really getting the clients to move at the same pace that I want to move at. Maybe I just need to learn how to move at their pace more. I don't know. What about going into 2016? What are we looking at, Eugene?
Well, we're trying to hit, in terms of book size again, we're trying to hit $2 million in total book for next year. Probably hire one or two more people to help us get there. We have hopefully one coming on board in January. So then this means we got to hire probably another person throughout the year. I'll say personally wise, I'd love to have a child next year.
You could take one of mine.
Maybe.
Boy. Take the boy.
Maybe I'll borrow it. Just borrow your son just to see how it is.
There's a no return policy.
Oh, no return policy?
No return
I
policy.
might have to get Joe to draft up a contract in that case. I think what else? I'd like the commercial book, which is my side of the business, to be like probably 20% of the total book. It's about 10 or so now, so I'd like to increase that to 20% next year.
So you've got those goals written on a whiteboard in your office, right?
Yes.
Colleen asked the question. She still refuses to join us, but she's asking questions. That's cool. So your icon is in the screen, but not you. That's all right. So she wants to know, what will you do differently this year to achieve your goals? Is that for both of us or just for Eugene? Eugene's a bit of a hustler.
No.
Yes.
And
he beats up other insurance agents. So.
No, I don't beat him up.
I saw you.
Not all the time. Once in a while.
There's a video on YouTube.
Really?
Actually, it's on WorldStar.
Isn't that like basically YouTube nowadays?
I
a lot of stuff on there. I remember when they were just starting out. They just have all the crazy videos.
WorldStar?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've taken a beating, that's why. All right, so Eugene, what will you do differently this coming year to achieve your goals?
I think get a more structured approach to things is probably one of the biggest things I'm going to work on. Structure and systematic ways of conducting both my business and when I talk to our employees about their business is help them implement systems and structures that I'm going to do myself. That's probably one of the biggest things I'm going to try to do.
Okay. For me, I think I'm going to differently. Sleep less, Colleen? I don't know.
Grow hair?
No, yeah, right here on my chin. Actually, I need to trim this. It's out of control again. For me, there probably will be some systems put in place as well. I think there needs to be a little more. I'm going to partner with one company that helps with ads. Actually, I'm going to talk to him today. Helps with the Google ad piece, and I think Facebook ads to a point, make it easier for me to manage my time managing the ads, because that's going to become a problem. Basically, they find all the problems for you, and you fix them with a click of a button almost. So I'm going to do that. We have a mystery viewer. Mystery viewer, if you want to join us, come to the Blab. We would love to hear from you. Does it show us where in the map they are? I don't think so. Like, mystery viewer, you're right there in Washington, D.C. So there's that. So there's going to be some strategic partnerships. I have already brought on 2 web designers as contractors. So
Okay.
I will probably bring on somebody. I might just go the intern route, or get a virtual assistant to help with some of the social media stuff, more of the social listening, because that's where I could use the help right now. What else? What else for 2016? I am going to target bigger businesses for advertising, because those are the ones that can afford the ads. And then Colleen asked another question. I'm still answering one question. She's asking another. What is the biggest obstacle to your success and the success of your clients? I think Colleen's conducting the interview today.
Yeah.
Biggest obstacle to my success? No, that's okay. We like it. Yeah, we love it.
I like it.
The biggest obstacle to my success. I don't know. How about you, Eugene? Do you know? Maybe I could steal your answer.
I would say my obstacle would probably be time management is what I'm trying to figure out, which is why one of the big things I'm going to work on over the next couple of weeks is figuring out, structure and systems to kind of help with that time management piece. I would say that's probably one of my biggest obstacles.
The next 2 weeks is probably a good time to do that, right? It'd probably slow for the next couple of weeks anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, time management is probably something. My schedule's a little crazy because of the kids, so I'm always running my son around to, like last night he had karate and basketball, and 15 minutes in between the two, so that was a challenge. So time management. So what usually ends up happening is I'll work in the office for most of the day. Then when he gets home, I'll work with him on whatever he's got to do. He goes to bed. I'll come back down to the office and do some work. And that's usually my day. I think I need to structure either the day to focus on certain projects throughout the day, or the week to focus on certain projects throughout the week. So like maybe Monday is one thing, Tuesday is another thing. That might be one of my biggest challenges. The other challenge, I think determining when it's time to bring somebody on to help. And I noticed that, Colleen, I don't know if you saw that, but Sandra brought on someone now. So Sandra, you remember Sandra, right, Eugene? She was on a few weeks ago at LinkedIn. She brought on someone. She's got somebody working with her now. So, maybe that's the other piece. When is it time to bring on someone to help? So Colleen knows, and Eugene, I'll share with you off air when we're not recording, but Colleen knows of a project that we're actually both working on that's pretty huge, and has the potential to be very large. I think another challenge for me is strategic partnerships, though. So I've made one with WordStream, which is the one that's going to help me with the advertising piece. I'm going to speak to a local hosting provider here in Connecticut. They're in Branford, Recoil, I don't know, it's RECOL, about hosting. They're a little more expensive, but I like the fact that they're on the East Coast. And for this project that Colleen and I are working on, we're probably going to need their services anyway. So I'm trying to form that partnership. I've got a couple other partnerships. Most of my LinkedIn work goes to Sandra when I have it. And I start as a per diem trainer. Oh, she's got another question. I was hired as a per diem trainer. I should be starting to do that in January, mostly New York City, but it'll be fun. Because that's my other passion, by the way, is I love to train people. So, and if we go back to the first question, the obstacle, I think that's probably maybe not an obstacle, but a weakness of mine is I love to help everybody, and you just can't. So I think I need to learn when to say no to people that aren't really going to benefit me in any way. So, oh wow, this is cool. The show more button, and it pops up over the screen. I don't know if you can see that too. I'm getting a little tired of people telling business owners to change this or change that. If we could, we would have. I'm thinking our goal needs to be to leverage what we're good at to find new ways of overcoming our obstacles more comfortably. Thoughts? I agree. I hear people all the time. I have this discussion all the time on Mondays when people complain, oh, it's Monday again. And I just say, well, then obviously you need to find something you like to do and do that. And they say, well, I can't make money doing that. I tell them, you can make money doing just about anything. If you're passionate about it, you can find a way to make money with it. I happen to love technology. I did IT for 7 years. And I did not, the one piece of two pieces of IT I didn't like. One was I was constantly traveling, and I put 200,000 miles on a car in 3 years, and mostly in Connecticut, a little bit in New York. So it was crazy. I was never home, so I didn't want to do that anymore. The other piece I didn't like is I tried to set up most of my clients for remote access so that I could fix things remotely and they call that managed services. And it was maintaining everything, but most of the clients, if they didn't see your face, they thought you weren't doing anything. You weren't helping them, you weren't fixing this, you weren't doing that. So I got tired of that too. I was always asked while I was doing that, hey, can you set me up on Facebook? Can you build a website? And some of it I actually turned away because I just didn't have the time. And I've been doing websites since AOL dial-up, so AOL homepages and GeoCities and all of that. So I went back to that, and this is what I really love. It's technology based. I love it. I love keeping up with the challenges. I love that I get to partner with Google, and I love all of that. And I think if you could find what you love to do, be passionate about it, you can be successful with it. Right? So I agree with Colleen. I get tired of people saying that. Eugene, thoughts?
No, I agree. I mean, you always hear, if you do this differently, if you that differently. I mean, I find everybody has an opinion. Everybody thinks they're the smartest person in the room a lot of times, which is not the case. I think part of it is, as business owners, we have to be kind of honest with ourselves more than anybody else, because we have to identify our own weaknesses, and it's either you find staff to kind of complement your weakness, or you figure out a way to overcome it. And I like using, the baby steps approach. You're not just going to one day wake up and be like, oh, my weakness is gone. Today is the day it's gone. No, you have to have baby steps approach over the course of 3 to 6 months to overcome it, which is usually, the length of time they say for something to become a habit, if it's a behavioral issue that you're having.
I get that. That was you telling me to go to the gym. I understand.
Yeah.
That's right.
Basically. Or at karate with your son.
I could just see me out on the karate floor with 25-year-olds. That'll be a lot of fun. They'll probably beat me up. My son will be like, finally, I can get you. Attack. Good morning, Steve Whitelaw. And Steve, looks like what is that? Is that Ireland? We're learning how to use the map. Scotland. Okay. All right. I was close. All right. So it's not good morning for you. It's good evening, right? What do you mean? They're like, yeah, there's a map on the top right now. Can you see it? It's pretty cool, actually. Early evening. Nice. Well, happy hour.
Happy hour. It's happy hour. 5 o'clock somewhere.
I think you have to refresh to see the map if you don't see it.
My map's weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I can't make out whether it's a body of water or what's
land. So
land.
The land is the darker pieces, and you'll see little dots on the screen that tells us where we are, or tells where people are. And then the water, you should really only see the Atlantic, but that's the lighter gray. And good morning, or depending on where you are, Rocco Steady. I'm not in New York. We're in Connecticut, so close.
And Rocco Steady.
So we are talking about, Stephen, we're talking about, Stephen's also a digital marketer and a public speaker. This is something else I like to do, but insurance land. It's funny you say that, because Okay, Colleen, thanks for coming on. Because Eugene here is an insurance broker, right? Is that the right word?
Yes,
He's my
yes, I
co-host
am.
on this show. We don't have a guest today. We normally have a guest, but today we are just doing a year in review. And if you want to hop on, feel free to hop on. But we're doing a year in review and what it's like to transition into 2016. So you're going to transition into 2016 a few hours before we will. So maybe you could let us know your thoughts on that if you want. So Stephen is a digital marketer and a speaker. I also do speaking engagements. I actually have 2 lined up for January, a possible 3rd for January, and then another one possibly beginning of February. So 2016 is starting out to be a busy year as far as speaking goes. Yes, so Connecticut is known for its insurance business. That is true.
Yep. We have a lot of
We are normally known for
here.
our cold, snowy winters. However, so far it's not officially winter yet, but they say Christmas Day is going to be 70 degrees. That is a little insane. That is true.
No.
Go for it.
So Scott, I have a question for you. Since you do a lot of public speaking, do you use anything to help you in
So
that
this is
aspect?
that's actually a really good question. Yes, 70 degrees. It's normally this time of year is probably 30 if we're lucky. Anyway, so I use a PowerPoint. I have to get a projector because I usually borrow somebody else's, but I use a PowerPoint. But here's the thing with PowerPoint. You can't PowerPoint people to death. So it's really just there as a visual aid. When I do a PowerPoint, it's generally a couple of graphics, maybe a few words. You don't want to use the PowerPoint. If you put all of what you're going to say on the PowerPoint, people are going to read that rather than listen to you. So I use it as more of an aid more than anything else. I've tried to come up with other ways to use visual aids. In most of my speaking engagements, it's not really possible. But I very rarely, so the PowerPoint is there more as a visual aid, and that's pretty much it. And it's just a guide. There might be some notes for me to see that nobody else sees, but that's what I did for the BNI 10 minutes when I did it in July. It was it was a PowerPoint, and I think I used. Oh, they had a projector in the room we were using at that time.
There's nothing there now for visual aids. You have to bring your own. I mean, they don't even have like the easel.
I've done that
like
before. That's true. I've used what do they call it? The poster boards. I've used that. Just write a couple things down. So that's more interactive stuff, though. Yeah. What about you? Do you do any speaking?
No, I want to. I want to get into more speaking.
We could do that. We could set up a little tour around Connecticut. There's actually people doing it already. There's a couple people in our BNI that have done it. John Carbone did it with someone. I don't remember who.
What?
Yeah.
Seminar?
I don't remember who.
Yeah, I think Carbone did it with. Who was
it was Joe.
God. Joe, and I think him and Jeremy did things too. I think him and might not have been like a seminar, but I think they went somewhere.
I know another group. I don't know if you know Zeph. Zeph she actually partnered with someone from New York Life and a business consultant or a sales consultant. I think she's a sales consultant, and they were doing some. They're not doing them right now, but so we can do that. We just need a third.
Got plenty of people we can have.
Yes.
Joe's always a good one to have.
Business.
Yeah, and he knows accounting and he knows everything, taxes, law.
He's a good guy to have in your corner.
So
yeah. But that would be my recommendation. If you're going to use a PowerPoint, don't put all the words on the PowerPoint because then they read the PowerPoint rather than listen to you. Because that's exactly what I would do. I'd read the PowerPoint, and if I'm taking notes, I'll write the notes down, and I don't hear anything you say. So,
I agree. I agree. You know, you don't want to just read off
That's right.
PowerPoint.
When I
Anybody can do
was
that.
training, I used to be a trainer at Cablevision, and there was at one point we had 7 trainers in our center, which was a lot. There was one trainer would design the PowerPoint, put every piece of information he could on the PowerPoint, and then read it verbatim while he was training, and it's like, what are you doing? But that was probably why he was the first one to be let go, amongst other reasons.
Is there any specific strategies you use to engage with the audience
So
right away?
engagement is tough. It depends on the platform as well. I do a lot of social listening, which is you look for conversations using, I use Hootsuite. So Hootsuite, if you use it, will help you out big time. And the pro package for Hootsuite is only $10 a month. So I'm managing like, I don't know, probably a few dozen social media accounts in there. And I can listen for keywords, hashtags, and stuff like that, and then join the conversation. I've replied to people using so Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Twitter, all of those can be managed through Hootsuite. The only major one that can't is Pinterest, I think. How come your phone vibrated when I got a message? Are you listening to my accounts?
Yes, I'm
No, that was
Hootsuite.
actually Slack.
I have you.
You guys should get Slack. Slack is awesome too, and you guys can do it the free account. It's pretty cool. Well,
There's so many out
Slack
there.
is more of a communications type tool. So if you're just trying to communicate with each other in the office, I don't know if you use any other messaging system or anything besides email, or if you just yell across the hall there. Anyway,
Okay.
so there's that. You video is obviously key. Video is huge because people don't like to read anymore. I just saw an infographic.
Yeah.
There's an infographic floating around on Facebook that shows the percentage of people that read a book again after college and after high school and so forth, and the numbers are pretty big. I think it was like 50% of people never pick up a book again after college, something like that, that's a large number of people. So people don't like to read. So videos are huge. This type of stuff, live streaming is going to just blow up big time. So I don't know if the listening audience is aware, but Facebook has live streaming now. They have a live streaming app. I have not used it yet. I would assume it's similar to maybe somebody listening out there can join us, but I would assume it's similar to not Blab, what's Periscope.
Okay.
But live streaming is going to be huge. The other piece that will help you, so you build up this audience. Let's say you have your Facebook page has 200 followers. Mine has, I think I'm stuck at 199. So I have 199 followers on Facebook. If I never talk to those people, and it's a little more difficult on a Facebook page, but on Facebook in general, if I never talk to the people that are on there, then you don't have a dialogue with those people. You don't have a follower at that point. You have to be willing. I'm actually building a new website for myself, and it's on my computer, so I can't show you, but technically I could. But one of the things I've got on there is meet your audience, I don't remember if it's meet your audience or meet your client where they are on their terms, and that's what digital marketing has become. It's become a two-way conversation where if you want to succeed, you have to meet your clients where they are on their terms. Now, I know it's a little more difficult for you guys because you have all these restrictions, but that's where it is. You know, if you start spending $1.4 million like that, whatever the insurance company is in Hartford there, a month on ads, maybe you'll be doing all right.
Travelers, they
Travelers
all
owns
spend
the
a lot of
tournament,
money.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they go the golf tournament. I mean, they all spend a good amount of money. Like in the property and casualty, what we're in, State Farm, all those big, they spend so much money to be in like number one everywhere, every search. Every insurance words, every keyword, they'll be number one or number two. It doesn't matter what location you type in. Doesn't matter what
So
you
if
type
somebody
in.
was going to look for you
They'll be number.
on the internet, they wouldn't necessarily just search insurance. They'd probably search independent agent, right? Or something along those lines.
Most, not really an independent agent, because most people don't realize that there's a difference. Just because the independent agents don't advertise
Yeah.
like the big players do, so they don't really understand. You know, you don't see too many commercials for independent agents. You'll see, State Farms, Allstates, Liberty Mutuals. Most people, we get reports of what
Yeah, I was
people
going to
search
say, are you
for.
using Google Analytics? So you are.
Yeah, we get it. Part of our website and our agency management system and our coding system is they run our website for us, and they do all the SEO, and every quarter we have a phone call with them where they'll talk about where we showed up, who searched for us, who clicked our website and got asked for a quote, stuff like that. And so they do all that for us. Where our locations, who's searching us where. Sometimes we get like different countries.
Yeah,
Randomly.
Russia.
Yeah, we get last quarter. California was big because we had a couple of
Okay.
clients move to California. So California was big for us last month, and they're like, "Why is California big for you guys?" I'm like, "Well, we had people move there." So we do have that information.
And so what's a popular search term used for your site?
Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up. I think I have it.
Do you find that more people call or fill out the form on your site?
I think more people would fill out the form than call because it's just easy. You just click it, you type in information, and they send us a message, and automatically goes into our email that they're looking for a quote, and then it's our job to follow up as soon as possible. If they call, I think they are able to monitor that if they click it. I'll get it in a second. I know I have a couple of them. Actually, let me pull up if I see.
We have
an older
we
one.
have somebody joining us. Let me just make sure this isn't a troublemaker. Hello, James.
Hi, James.
You there, boys?
We are. James,
Hey.
where are you located in the world?
You take the other one. Back outside.
Oh,
Yeah,
somewhere in Europe.
He's got an
It's dark.
accent.
Hello?
Hello.
So,
That's okay. How are you?
see?
I can
Good,
see you.
good.
It's dark, but we can see you.
Go.
James,
So, where are you boys?
We're in Connecticut, East Coast of the United States.
Okay. Melbourne, Australia for us.
Wow. All right. We got Australia in here.
So, what's the topic?
We're talking about the business year in review and what the plan is going forward into 2016. So, James, what do you do?
So, in marketing, so your question is what's going on in 2016 for where? For America or globally?
Yeah, globally.
Okay.
Are you in marketing as well?
Sure.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen in 2016?
Yeah, it's an interesting call. So many things. I think video big
Agreed.
next year.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be massive next year, and I think people are going to take sound bites out of 60, 30 seconds.
Yep.
I think digital is changing, and I think it's changing in different ways. So I think we're going to get to a stage where it's going to be hard to get, good cost per acquisition for, for good clients. And I think that's going to be very, very challenging for all the businesses. But I also think in Australia, particularly, the marketing automation is going to get quite big. I know you guys have been doing it for a while, but here in Australia, it's quite new. So I
Okay.
think that a lot of companies are going to do well if they can implement it properly and deliver good content.
Okay. What are you guys using for marketing automation in Australia?
So we're certified Marketo, so we use a lot of Marketo, but we also got clients with Pardot and Silverpop, and we've also got SharpSpring here and Acton, a little bit of Infusionsoft, but mainly Marketo for us.
Okay. Okay. So it doesn't sound like you're really that far off from what we're doing here. It's interesting. You want to tell us what your website is, and we'll share it with the audience. This does get put onto iTunes and YouTube, so.
Sure. So we're at leadgeneration.com.au.
Okay. Lead generation. Trying to type correctly here. .com/.au, right?
Correct.
All right. What time of the day is it over there?
So it's quite late here. We're just heading home. But I mean, what's interesting is that Blab is, this new media that we haven't seen before. Quite interesting. I heard a lot of people talk about it, and we're starting to, look at it and go, well, hey, listen, maybe there's, ways that we can look at it for business opportunities and be able to, broadcast different messages around Australia for it.
Yeah, there's been a few people from Australia on. There are some people, I wouldn't say that I've necessarily closed business because of Blab, but there are some people on here that have closed business because of Blab. There's one guy that's on all the time, Robert Stern. He's closed business on Blab. So there are people that have. I would imagine it's probably a matter of time before either of us does. So we're on here every Friday. Well, this is our last Friday for this year, but every Friday, 10 a.m. our time, which is Eastern. If you create a regular show and then obviously remarket it, repurpose it. So we repurpose this. It goes onto the website for the show. It goes out to iTunes, to YouTube. And next year it's going to go on Google Play when they launch. It's already been approved. So, now you have multiple ways of reaching people, and it gets remarketed on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and so forth. So it's definitely a new medium. There's other ones out there. This seems to be the fastest growing one. But there are other ones out there, Periscope. But I've noticed a lot of spam accounts on Periscope lately. So I've gotten a lot of spam followers. Facebook has live streaming now. So
Scott, do you think the Facebook one will be big just because of Facebook's
I
membership
think
totals?
Facebook might be its own worst enemy in that it's going to get Facebook users, the diehard Facebook users to use it, but I think you're not really going to get the types of conversations you get on Blab. I don't think you're going to see this. There are some strange topics on here as well, especially at night, but night in our time. So we can see your face now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that, the Facebook's got the same problem that Google has, I think, in that Google tries to go out to new areas. Like they set up Google Plus to compete with Facebook. They just never could. And I think Facebook is going to make that same mistake with their live streaming.
Because they were successful with, the Instagram videos versus, Vine. That became very successful too.
The interesting thing there is that they kept that separate. So they didn't turn it into Facebook, a gram or whatever, but they kept Instagram separate. This is built in, from what I understand. Again, I haven't used it. I tried to once and I couldn't get it to work right. So I don't know that it's really full use yet. This is built into Facebook from what I understand. So.
Yeah, Facebook's interesting because they're more like almost
Oh
a data
yeah.
company at this point. They're all their data. So a lot of times I'm wondering if they know whether they're going to be successful or not, or do they care, or is it just another way to get more data and then sell it? It's kind of my
They
feeling.
definitely hold. I don't know that they hold as much data as Google does it yet, but they hold a lot of data, and they also have third-party services that give them data too. They have like 2 or 3 different sources for data as well. But you're right. They have everything. Where do what kind of, what is your living situation? What is your marital status? How much income you have? What you like to do? Where you like to shop? How you like to shop? What kind of car do you own? Just pretty much anything you can think of. Your age, obviously, that's an easy one. Where you live. Um,
And isn't it what you see on your timeline kind of customized based on what you clicked or what
yeah, if you
articles you
notice,
read,
like I'll tell you
stuff
what,
like that?
today I got, you get that birthday announcement every day. It's this person's birthday. All right. So I get
Yep.
birthday notices sometimes, and I'm just like, I don't remember ever seeing anything from this person. You go to their account, and they've been posting all along. And the reason is Facebook thinks you're only interested in certain people because those are the people you interact with. So that's the stuff they show you in your feed. But this is why I always tell people, share share your content, get other people to share it. If you look at Marnie's a friend of ours, James. She owns a cookie company. Um, but you look at her Facebook page, and her Facebook page is blowing up because people share her stuff. If you do the same thing with your own content, you'll see that it gets more traction on the timeline and more people see it. And that's how Facebook determines what's relevant and what's not relevant. Now you can also I can go to Facebook and say, I want Eugene to be a priority in my Facebook. And so then I'll see that first.
Yeah, I've seen that before. James, is Facebook also
Yeah,
big in
yeah,
Australia?
it's massive, and it should be. I mean, they're everything they're doing well here.
Do businesses also utilize it a lot
Not
like they
so
do over
much.
here
It's
in the
more business
States?
to consumer, but
Okay.
like I mean, they just do it well. I mean, they're very good. The lead quality here in Australia on the back of Facebook is excellent, and about this medium, the one that you're talking about here, I don't think it's what we're doing here. What I think it is more moderator and 3 experts that kind of are in a particular field that we talk about for long periods of time. Let's say it's 20 minutes or whatever. We ask each other questions, but we have a whole bunch of people that come and they actually understand more of the message. So I think that's probably the best use of this medium. I don't know definitively because it's so new, but I think that's probably where it's potentially going to go. But yeah, look, in Australia, mate, I mean, we're behind you guys in so many ways. But we're using Facebook effectively. Very.
Nice. I've always wanted to visit Australia. I just don't want to take that flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day
That's a big
flight for
flight,
us.
boys. It's a very big flight. I
Yeah.
think to LA it's like nearly 14 hours.
Yeah. So we're in the East Coast, so we have to think most of our flights go to LA first, and then from LA we go straight to Australia.
Listen, come over.
So,
We're a good city down here.
Yeah, I want to. I talked to my wife about it
yeah.
recently, and so it's on my list. Back to Italy. I want to go back to Italy, Australia, Hawaii, Alaska, back to the Caribbean again. Um, yeah,
I want to do the French Polynesian Islands.
yeah, I
That's where
haven't
I
thought
want
of
to
that one. I want to go to Dubai sometime.
go.
It
Fiji,
scares me a little bit, but I want to visit still. Yeah.
Dubai. Everybody I know that's been there says you have to do Dubai like you do Vegas, just 4 days, because after a while it just gets too much. That's what I hear
Have
from
to
people.
check that out. James, have you been to the United States?
Sure, many times.
Okay. You like it? What do you like better, Australia or United States?
Oh, look, boys, yeah, you have to be in Australia to understand Australia. Australia's a great place, no doubt. America's also wonderful. I mean, you got so many great people there. And the interesting thing about America is that you guys are leaders in so many areas, and there's so much that we learn off you boys. Seriously, we learn a stack. But it's a great country here, Australia. We've got good people. It's a good lifestyle, and to to be fair, like our country, it's so vast and big,
Mhm.
but we just don't have the same population. So we've only got about 20, I think it's 24 million people,
Wow.
and you guys have got 400. And so, it's very different because you can go to places that are quite isolated, and that you're not sharing it with thousands of other people. You're sharing it with, with you. So there's a bit of that. There's also a bit of the fact that it's just, I don't know, it's just an interesting place to live and to be. And, I don't know, we're a good country down here. We've got good people, and we're just good boys and girls. And so, I encourage any of you lads that are over in America to say, hey, listen, come down and enjoy some time in Australia, because, when we come to America, you guys are very welcoming, very warm, but also we are as well for you guys coming down here.
You must not have been to Connecticut.
Yeah.
We have a reputation for
I'm sure
being.
you boys are good there.
We are, but Connecticut itself has a reputation. The entire Northeast really has a reputation for not being very welcoming.
I've never found that in the US. I've
Yeah.
been there many times. I've never found that ever.
Yeah.
I've always found you guys very accommodating,
Good.
particularly with Australians.
Good.
You guys are very good.
It's good to hear.
No, that's good. We like it. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Awesome. So, James, you're going to do more of the marketing automation going forward in 2016.
100%.
I think one of the things I'll be doing going forward is more of live streaming. So we have this once a week, and then I do occasional live streaming here and there. I don't have any set schedule on anything else at this point, but I think that's something I'll continue to do. And one of the things I started doing, I should say, is I'll record a blab, I'll record something on video, and then I'll also make that a blog post, so put it all together, because there are some people that'll still read, or if you're at work and you can't listen to it, you can always read it.
So how have you got this growthsuccessradio.com like on your, on the bottom line of your feed?
Oh, this is a program called Manicam or Manicam.
Okay.
It's I think it's minicam.com. Let me see what it is. Yeah, minicam.com.
Just if you got my details there, just send me some.
All right. Yeah, I'll tweet it to you.
Because look, at the end of the day,
Yeah, and then you also have Scott. Aren't you able to
Yeah,
do
I
like
could do
screen share? On it?
If you came in earlier, we just lost them. I can add an image to it. The screen share is not that great because of the size of the box, but so yeah, you can do all of that. So Eugene, since we only got a few minutes left, I was going to ask, you want to do the fire round? Think you're ready? I see you stretching there. You're like, all right.
Fire
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of my favorite.
Favorite
Gotcha,
business
okay.
book?
I think of the gold
I
standard.
think you talked about that last week, didn't you? Okay.
Yeah. It fits me because it's written almost in satire form, but he makes actual good business points. So it's easy to read and get
I'm gonna write this
engaged
down.
in.
This is the second time you brought it up, so of course I got a pen that doesn't work. It's my Google pen from last time I went up there. There we go. It says Google Partners. You're not a Google partner. You can't have it. I have a few of them, so I think I have 3.
I don't know if I want to be a Google partner. That sounds like a lot.
All right, the gold standard. Yeah, I think for me it's probably Book Yourself Solid. Good book. It's a newer one. I don't know how new it is. It's probably not brand new, but it's a good book. There are people that actually do masterminds together around this book, so it's a really good book to follow. I can't say I've introduced all of the theories in the book to my real life, but it's a good book, and I probably will at some point. How about favorite activity outside of business? Remember, your wife is going to see this.
Not spending time with my wife. No, I'm just kidding. I just like to do things just to relax because work is so hectic. So I like to do things to relax and just hang out with friends. I'm starting to get back into getting active again and play Call of Duty.
Okay. For me, it's I like to coach baseball. I like to hang out with the kids. I like to paintball. And I'm going to go see Star Wars next week with my son. It's awesome. You know, my son is 6 years old. I was 5. No, he's 5 years old. I was 6 when the first Star Wars came out. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Favorite quote? Oh, man, I don't even know one for myself.
Mine is one I've liked since I first heard this way back in like 99, I would say. There's actually a quote from a DMX song.
This is going to be good.
No, it's not anything like crazy. The quote is, "To live is to suffer, to survive is to find meaning in the suffering."
Okay.
I've always liked that quote. It's always resonated with me since, I was 14 and I heard it.
Yeah, I should have thought before I started doing this because I can't think of a quote off the top of my head. Well, I'll have to come back to that one.
It's hard to do.
I know. I should have thought of that before. I mean, I decided yesterday I was going to do this, but I've been.
So you decided to do it like 24 hours ago, but yeah, you didn't think of a quote in the last one.
Well, see, this is what happens when our guests don't read ahead of time. This is what happens. They're on the spot. They don't know how to answer it.
Now we know how they feel, right?
One piece of advice you wish you knew before you started your business.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's going to take me a second to think about. Do you know your answer to that one? Maybe you could go first on that one.
Ramen noodles are not a good diet. No.
That's one of our college
well, when you start going into business for yourself. No, I one piece of advice. I think, this is probably a good quote, actually. Plan for the worst, but expect the best. And the reason is you just never know with business. You might hit a lull, and it's going to be tough, for a few weeks, a couple months. I mean, I'm sure most people know that that's a possibility in business. However, I don't think most people believe it. I think everybody goes into business thinking, I'm not going to have any problems. This is going to be great. I'm going to be rich by the end of the year and blah, blah, blah. And that's not reality. It takes time. It takes persistence. It takes consistency. And I kind of knew that, but I don't think you really know that until you're doing it.
Okay. So for me, I wish if I had somebody would just tell me before we started that you're gonna learn so much about yourself and some of the people around you. They just be prepared for that. I wish somebody just gave me that warning, because you learn so much about yourself and some of the people around you, your personal life, when you're actually a business owner, because your whole mindset changes when you own a business versus when you work for somebody else. So that changes the people around you, your friends, and also you start realizing things about yourself because you're brought into new challenges and new successes that you've never experienced before.
Yeah, you realize things. That's true. You realize things about friends. Some of them, this guy's not coming on. No eggheads, sorry. You realize things about your friends because not all your friends are going to, you're going to have times where you just can't afford to do certain things because you're running a business and that needs to be the priority, and you're going to learn who your friends are at some point. That's very true.
Yep.
It's true. You learn a lot about people.
And friends get jealous too. You know,
Oh,
now that you're a business owner, sometimes some of them get jealous, especially when you start. You know, some of your friends you might not realize it want you to fail. So when they see that you're successful, it, you know, it changes how they view
yeah,
you even more.
I could see that.
I wish somebody told me about that's probably the advice I wish somebody said, because I didn't realize that it was going to happen. But then, you know, over the last couple of years, I noticed it more. It starts to happen, especially as you grow in your
Don't
business. You know, you realize things about
don't
people and
listen to the
yourself.
naysayers, because there are people that
Yeah,
will tell you you can't do it. It's not possible. Um, it's funny that guy gave me props, even though I wouldn't let him in.
that's
It's
probably
like,
why
good
he gave you
job,
props.
you snuffed me out. Um, yeah,
You said,
these are all good points. It's true because you learn how to trust people. It's I don't know. It's weird. Like you learn how to feel people out. I think quicker than you would
yes,
before you started the business.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
good stuff. Well, Eugene, this is our last episode of the year.
Yes, I
Is
can't believe
is
it. It's crazy,
is Hanukkah still on? I don't.
crazy. Yeah,
All
Hanukkah's
right.
been
Well,
over for like a week. Oh,
that's you. That's your.
okay. Next year, Hanukkah at the same time as Christmas, so
Yeah,
it's
I
going to be
thought it was
interesting
closer to
next year.
Christmas, so it changes. Well, how does that work?
Yeah, it's based on the Jewish calendar, and I know we're like in year like 5,000 something in the Jewish calendar, and it's completely different.
Okay. So Christmas is a week from today, so we will not be on then. New Year's
Yes.
Day is 2 weeks from
No.
today, so we will not be on for New Year's Day. We will be back on January 8th with Renee Wilbur. You may remember we tried to have her on a few weeks back, and we had tons of technical difficulties, so we just scrapped that show. She's going to be on January 8th, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. her time, so she'll be up nice and early. And 2016 promises to be a good year, so I hope everybody.
We're gonna have a lot of different guests. I have a
Yes,
feeling a lot of different
we're
businesses,
going to
a
have
lot of
another
different.
attorney on because we love our attorneys. Bob will be on maybe the 15th. We love our attorneys, right? Got to keep those guys around, keep them happy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. We have a lot. I mean, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna double check with Ashley about her dad because he owns the real
Okay.
estate firm. He wants to get on. I have a. I'm gonna start asking all the clients I have. I want to get the art
Oh, that would be
studio on
awesome.
here
They just did something, right? Yeah, they
because
just
he
did
does a
something.
lot.
There's a lot of good people in Meriden doing a lot of good stuff for the community, really, because I did
You
see
know,
that actually. She had to cancel the something she was doing because she didn't get enough people to sign up, right? Yeah, I saw that. I wish if I had known earlier, I would have signed up, but um,
she's she's got a unique model that's not many businesses around here are doing that. So it'd be interesting to have her on because she has an interesting story too, her backstory.
yeah,
So I'm
awesome.
trying
That'll
to
be
get her
great.
on.
Maybe she could do it from the studio and give us a tour. Yeah.
It's nice in there.
All right, Eugene. Any final thoughts before
All right,
we say goodbye to 2015?
you stay
Of
safe.
course.
Don't drive and drink.
That's not directed at me. I don't drink, but um, yeah,
That's
that's
for
right.
anybody out there.
It's not
Don't drink
worth
and
it.
drive.
I tell
It's
from
not worth
personal experience, not me,
it.
but people I know, it's just not worth it. The long-term consequences, just not worth it. You know,
Call a taxi, call a friend. Now Uber makes it easier than ever to get
and
drunk
don't a lot
somewhere.
of the I think a lot of the taxi services actually do give free rides on New Year's Eve, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So do that or sleep over or whatever the case may be. But
Not worth it. It's so expensive, and especially in our state, in Connecticut. I don't know if people know, but in the fence, you have to install the breathalyzer in your car. So if what people don't know what that is anytime you start your car, you have to blow into the thing. And randomly while you're driving, you have to blow into the thing. And it checks your blood alcohol level.
Wow, there was a teacher or something in Connecticut that got, I forget the story now. She somehow found a way around it, and I forget what it was, but she ended up driving drunk, got and crashed or something. It was a teacher here in Connecticut. She was actually supposed to be working when it happened. Yeah, we've got some strange people here in Connecticut.
Don't be the teacher.
No, don't be that teacher.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Only advice I could tell you guys is be social. Be a little more personal on social media if you're a business owner. I just think that, especially these large corporations, if the CEO was on social media and being more social and talking to people, that would win so many people over because people don't trust corporations anymore. Yeah. And people would rather work. I'd rather go to the little C-Town down the street here than I would to Walmart, because even though C-Town is a larger group of stores, it's still a more local based store. I don't know how many there are, but I think it's only Connecticut, New York, maybe. So that's really, if businesses want to be more successful, you need to be more social, and that's in real life and on the internet. So that's my piece of advice going into 2016. This is a perfect way to do it on Blab. Go do it. Thank you, Colleen, for joining us. Thank you, what was the name? James from Australia for joining us. And Steven, who joined us for a few minutes on the chat. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for a great 2015. We'll see you in 2016.
All right. Take care, everybody.